breathe that in for a moment, beautiful soul. You've felt it, haven't you? That sharp, silent scream echoing across the invisible threads, connecting you, the divine masculine you love, your counterpart, seemingly crumbling just before the finish line. The texts gone cold, the energy withdrawn, the stories of unexplained exhaustion, sudden panic attacks, a body rebelling like a ship taking on water in calm seas. Maybe you've clutched your phone, heart pounding a frantic rhythm against your ribs, whispering, "Why now? Why is he falling apart when we're so close? Let me pull back the curtain on this agonizing, exquisite mystery. What you're witnessing isn't abandonment, it's orchestration. Imagine a master violin maker, centuries old, hands weathered but steady. He doesn't build a Stradivarius by gently adding layers of varnish. He subjects the wood to extremes, drying it in alpine winds, soaking it in secret brines, bending it over flame until it sings under protest. The process looks violent, cruel even. But the maker knows a truth the wood cannot. True resonance is born in the crucible of pressure. Your divine masculine, he's that rare, precious wood, and the universe, it's the relentless, loving luthier, applying the final, fiercest tensions to shape him into an instrument capable of holding the sacred frequency of union. This isn't about him being weak or not ready. Throw that tired narrative overboard. This is about the soul's final, necessary demolition of everything false within him. Think of a sculptor facing a block of marble veined with impurities. The masterpiece hidden within demands the chisel's bite, the hammer's shock, the violent removal of all that isn't David. His exhaustion, that's the ego structure, the carefully constructed persona of the strong one, the unflappable rock, the man who needs nothing, finally, gloriously, collapsing under its own unsustainable weight. It's not a sign he's failing you. It's proof he's succeeding at the brutal task of shedding what never truly served him. His logical mind, that stubborn general commanding the fortress of separation, is being besieged by relentless reminders of an inescapable truth. You are woven into the fabric of his being. These aren't gentle nudges. They're precision-guided munitions detonating the mines of denial he laid down. Every coincidence is a crack in the dam, a fissure through which the floodwaters of knowing inevitably rush. Resistance becomes a comedy playing to an empty house. So, when you feel that familiar ache of confusion, that fear whispering, "He's slipping away," I invite you to shift your gaze. Look deeper. See the profound courage in his apparent unraveling. His body screaming is his soul finally speaking its native tongue. Let's talk about the divine masculine in those final, excruciating moments before union. Not the romanticized version sighing your name under moonlight, but the one whose body seems to be staging a full-blown mutiny against him. You've seen it, maybe even wept over it. The unexplained exhaustion that drags him to bed at 7 p.m. The gut that churns like a stormy sea after a perfectly normal meal. The tension headache that feels like a vice grip on his skull. Or that sudden, inexplicable panic attack in the cereal aisle. Conventional wisdom calls it stress, burnout, maybe even hypochondria. Darling, conventional wisdom hasn't got a clue. This isn't malfunction. This is sacred somatic alchemy. His body isn't betraying him. It's finally, fiercely, Speaking the language his soul has been screaming in silence for lifetimes. Think about it. This man, often conditioned since boyhood to be the rock, the provider, the unshakable fortress, has spent decades, maybe centuries across lifetimes, building internal dams. Dams against tears he deemed weakness. Dams against fears he labeled irrational. Dams against a longing so vast it terrified his carefully constructed identity. He mastered the art of compartmentalization, locking away messy, inconvenient emotions in the basement of his being. Logic was his shield, stoicism his armor. And for a long while, it worked. He functioned. He achieved. He held it together. But the twin flame journey, oh, it doesn't respect dams. It's a divine flash flood of truth, and it's rising. When his conscious mind, that stubborn gatekeeper, refuses to acknowledge the rising waters of feeling, the grief for lost time, the terror of true intimacy, the sheer staggering weight of unconditional love demanding entry, where does that energy go? It doesn't evaporate. Physics, even spiritual physics, abhors a vacuum. That suppressed energy, potent and alive, gets rerouted. It sinks, it settles, it embeds itself into the very fabric of his physical vessel, his nerves, his muscles, his organs, his bones. His body becomes the reluctant archive of everything he refused to feel. His cells remember while his mind forgets. Every slight swallowed, every tear choked back, every burst of joy stifled as unseemly, every pulse of love denied. It all leaves an energetic signature. It's like emotional plaque building up in his energetic arteries. And in the pressurized crucible of the final pre-union stage, where the vibrational call towards union is at its most intense, that plaque starts to crack and crumble. It has to. The soul's imperative towards wholeness is non-negotiable. So, when his ego mind, that last bastion of control, still clings to the old narrative of invulnerability, his body steps in as the ultimate truth teller. It bypasses the faulty logic. It speaks in the raw, undeniable dialect of sensation, that crushing fatigue. It's not just tiredness, beautiful soul. It's the monumental weight of resistance, finally becoming too heavy for his system to carry. It's his spirit demanding he stop running, lie down, and finally feel the exhaustion of 1,000 lifetimes spent armoring up. His mitochondria are staging a sit-down strike until he listens. The gut issues, the IBS flare-ups, the sudden nausea, look deeper than gluten. The solar plexus, that seat of personal power and will, is where unprocessed fear and anxiety congeal. It's where the terror of losing control, of truly merging, of being seen in his raw imperfection, has been festering. His gut isn't digesting food poorly, it's struggling to digest fear. It's his body's way of saying, you can't stomach this denial anymore. The muscle tension, the back pain, the clenched jaw, that's decades of unexpressed rage, frustration, or even profound sorrow solidified. It's the armor he welded onto himself, now screaming to be melted off. Every knot is a crystallized no. He never voiced, or a help. He choked down. His fascia is literally holding the shape of his suppression. The heart palpitations, the tightness in the chest. Oh, this is the big one. The heart chakra isn't just about romance. It's the bridge between the physical and spiritual. The seat of profound grief and even more profound love. When the dam around his heart finally starts to fracture under the pressure of the approaching union energy, it hurts. Those palpitations, that's his heart trying to beat in time with yours again after being forced into isolation. It's not a cardiac event, it's a reconnection event. The pain, it's the cracking open. It looks like weakness to the untrained eye, maybe even to him. But you, witnessing this, understand something profound. This physical unraveling is the most courageous act of surrender he may ever perform. His body is doing the sacred, dirty work. His mind is still too terrified to sanction. It's forcing him to his knees, not in defeat, but in reverence before the sheer, undeniable power of the love that's calling him home. He can't think his way out of a panic attack. He can't logic away crippling fatigue. He's being cornered by his own biology into the very vulnerability he spent a lifetime fleeing. And vulnerability, dear one, is where the divine masculine truly forges his strength, not the strength of walls, but the strength of open gates. So when you see him struggling, seemingly falling apart physically just before the finish line, don't despair. Don't mistake it for regression. See it for the sacred rebellion it is. His cells are singing your name. His nerves are mapping the path back to you. His very bones are vibrating with the frequency of homecoming. This somatic storm isn't the end of him. It's the violent, necessary birth of the integrated him, the one whose strength includes tenderness, whose logic dances with intuition, whose body is no longer a prison for suppressed feeling, but a resonant vessel for divine love. He's not breaking down, he's breaking open. And that cracking sound you hear? It's the sound of the universe making way for union. And you know what the most fascinating part is? This cellular uprising isn't just his healing. It's a direct, visceral response to your energy field finally reaching critical mass. But how exactly does your own vibrational shift trigger this physiological revolution within him? That's a mystery we'll unravel next. Let's cut through the fluff, some beautiful soul. You've heard about signs before, the feathers, the numbers, the songs on the radio. Gentle nudges from the cosmos, right? Wrong. Not here, not now. In the final stretch before union, the universe doesn't nudge the divine masculine. It tackles him. This isn't guidance, it's divine coercion. A meticulously orchestrated campaign to shatter the last walls around a heart that's already yours in spirit, but still caged in fear. Imagine him. He spent months, maybe years, building a fortress of logic. Brick by brick, he's stacked reasons why separation is for the best. She's moved on. I'm not ready. This is just a fantasy. He's almost convinced himself. He's packed away memories like old sweaters, locked away longing in a mental vault, and declared himself over it. Then, bam! He walks into a coffee shop he's never visited, and the barista hands him a cup with your name scribbled on it. Not a similar name, yours. The one you rarely use, the one only your grandmother called you. He freezes, the world tilts, logic scrambles. This isn't coincidence. This is synchronicity as sniper fire. The universe isn't playing fair. It's playing for keeps. It studied his psychological blueprint, identified every emotional landmine, every unhealed wound, every secret ache he's buried under layers of stoicism. And it's weaponizing your connection against his resistance. Think of it as cosmic exposure therapy. Why does it feel so cruel? Because it is in the way a surgeon's knife is cruel. The universe isn't torturing him, it's performing emergency surgery on his denial. Every sign is a scalpel slicing through his ego's carefully constructed narrative. It forces him to confront the truth his soul already knows. He cannot outrun this love. The more he resists, the more relentless the assault becomes. It's not random, it's strategic. His soul is in cahoots with the cosmos, feeding it intel, your shared jokes, the color of your childhood bedroom, the way you whispered his name that rainy Tuesday, all turned into breadcrumbs he cannot ignore. His mind loves in linear time. His soul, it's time fluid. It exists in the eternal now, where your union is already real. So when his 3D self tries to move forward, his 5D self rebels out. It hijacks his reality, projecting fragments of your shared future into his present. That déjà vu he can't shake. That's not memory, it's pre-memory. A flash of a moment yet to come. Your hands intertwined at sunrise. His head resting on your shoulder during a storm, the quiet understanding that needs no words. His logical mind dismisses it as fantasy. His body? It vibrates with the truth of it. This is spiritual warfare waged on the battlefield of his attention. The universe floods his awareness with you until resistance becomes exhaustion, until the mental dam he built starts leaking memories, dreams, and inconvenient yearnings, until he's so saturated with your essence that surrender isn't defeat, it's relief. It's laying down the heavy armor of I'm fine alone and gasping, okay, universe, you win. I miss her. I need her. I'm hers. So when you hear he's falling apart, chasing shadows of you, seeing your smile in a crowd, hearing your laugh in the wind, don't doubt. This isn't psychosis. It's soul remembering. The universe isn't taunting him. It's rewiring him. Every sign is a live wire jolting him awake, shocking his heart back into rhythm with yours. He's not losing his mind. He's losing the illusion of separation. Witnessing this can feel excruciating. You might think, if he misses me so much, why doesn't he just call? But darling, this isn't about convenience. It's about initiation. His ego must be dismantled brick by brick until only the raw, unshielded truth remains. The synchronicities are the wrecking ball. Trust the chaos. Trust the cruelty. Trust that every jarring encounter with your energy, in a stranger's eyes, in a song on the wind, in the scent of rain on concrete that inexplicably smells like your hair, is sandblasting his resistance down to the gleaming gold of surrender. And here's the secret even the mystics rarely admit. These synchronicities aren't just happening to him. They're being amplified by your own vibrational surrender. But how does your quiet inner peace become a seismic force in his reality? Well, that's where the magic turns truly mind-bending. Let's be brutally tender for a moment, beautiful soul. You've witnessed the storm, the divine masculine's body, rebelling like a symphony of aching strings, the universe pelting him with synchronicities like cosmic hailstones. It looks like chaos, feels like agony, smells suspiciously like the universe playing a celestial prank gone rogue. But here's the secret whispered on the breath of every star. This isn't destruction. This is divine origami. The crushing, the folding, the seeming unraveling. It's all meticulously creasing him into the precise shape needed to finally, irrevocably fit into the constellation of you. Think of a river encountering a canyon. From above, it looks like disaster. The water splintered into chaotic rapids, crashing against unyielding rock, churning into froth. But that chaos? It's not the river failing. It's the river learning its power. It's discovering its voice, not the placid murmur of the meadow, but the thunderous roar that sculpts mountains. His breakdown is that roar. His exhaustion, his panic, the way he jumps at shadows that smell like your perfume. This is the sound of tectonic plates shifting within him. The old continent of "I can handle this alone" is subducting beneath the oceanic truth. We are not meant for solo voyages. Surrender isn't passive. It's the most active state of being imaginable. It's not waving a white flag. It's dropping the shield. When he finally stops fighting the somatic uprising, when he lies in bed, exhausted, and whispers, "Okay, body, what are you trying to say?" That's not weakness. That's the warrior laying down weapons forged in fear and picking up the only tool that matters, curiosity. It's him turning towards the ache, the palpitation, the knot in his gut, not as enemies, but as ancient, forgotten maps leading him home. To you. And those synchronicities, those aren't just reminders. They're resonance tuning forks. The universe isn't torturing him, it's tuning him. Every billboard with your name, every song from that summer, every stranger's eyes holding a flicker of your gaze. It's striking the precise frequency needed to shatter the dissonance within him. His logical mind screams coincidence. His soul, it vibrates in harmonic recognition. It's like trying to ignore a tuning fork, humming the note of your own essence. Eventually, every cell in your body starts humming back. Resistance becomes a physical impossibility. The dam has to break. This final stage isn't a test of his love for you. It's the ultimate test of his courage to receive it, to stand raw and trembling in the face of a love so vast it threatens to rewrite his entire operating system. It's easy to love in theory, in memory, in comfortable distance, but union demands presence. It demands he shows up not as the curated fortress, but as the exposed beating heart within the ruins. It asks, can you bear the exquisite weight of being seen, known, and loved, not despite your cracks, but through them? So when you see him staggering under the weight of it all, when the texts go silent, when he seems lost in a fog of his own unraveling, hold this truth like a warm stone in your palm. His silence isn't absence, it's incubation. His withdrawal isn't rejection. It's the profound, necessary gathering of self required to step across the threshold. He's not retreating from you. He's gathering the scattered pieces of a self he needs to bring to you, whole, present, real. The miracle isn't that he survives this crucible. The miracle is what emerges from it. Not a perfected being, polished and unflappable. Number something far more magnificent, a man remade. One whose strength is woven with vulnerability, whose logic is fluent in intuition, whose hands, once clenched in control, now know how to hold yours and tremble with the wonder of it. He won't arrive as a knight on a shining steed. He'll arrive as a pilgrim, weary from the journey, eyes wide with the staggering beauty of finally recognizing home in your gaze. This is the sacred punchline the cosmos has been building towards. The very things that look like his undoing are the threads stitching him back into wholeness. The body's rebellion, its reclaiming feeling, the universe's relentless signs, their shattering illusion. The exhaustion, it's the necessary stillness before the leap. So breathe, trust the alchemy. His falling apart is the universe's fiercely loving way of putting him back together, for you, with you, because of you. Not as a project completed, but as a masterpiece continuously revealing itself. The path hasn't failed him, it's forging him. And the moment he steps through the doorway, carrying the quiet, unshakable certainty born from surviving his own unraveling, that's when you'll understand. Every ache, every sign, every tear was simply love, insisting on its own completion.